this image
So crazy.
that was taken earlier today, or excuse me, over on October 7th, just a few days ago. That's why we weren't able to play it on Monday. But on the 1-year anniversary, where this country, and of course it was never talked about in the media, and why the hell would it be, that the overwhelming majority of people who marched on October 7th were for free Palestine,
Of
not for
course.
Israel.
Of course.
But this is symbolic of exactly where one movement is going and where the other movement is going.
I can see why they're so scared for their safety.
This is so symbolic. And while I think that clearly she's doing it for attention, and she clearly would like for somebody to hit her, you know, kind of like the person who was
I
doing
want to
this.
hit her.
Well, somebody, but somebody did claim to get hit, because what ended up happening was that they stood too close to where people were waving their flags, and one of the flags hit them in the face. And they got hit in the eye. Oh, got hit in the eye.
And yes, Steve, Jesus was a Palestinian Jew. He was a Palestinian Jew.
Did you know Jesus was a Jew?
I did you know he was Palestinian?
Yes. He was also dark.
He was dark.
Yeah. Hard to sell that one.
You don't think he was like white with blue eyes in the desert?
There are people who really still believe that. Like, they really do. They're like, well, you know, he really came from such and such. And in that region, they had such and such. And he were... Imagine even arguing that. Who cares what Jesus looks like?
He was something between African, Egyptian, Arabic, something like that. That would be my guess.
And this is what I've always found interesting, is that, let's just say for the sake of argument that he is
not white.
Let's say whether he's the son of God or a divine prophet or even the Messiah, let's say he even existed, and that's true. Does it matter what he looks like?
Well, here's the thing, and here's what the ultimate thing is. Let's say they say something like, well, if he's the son of God, then he's in God's image. Right. Black.
Whoops.
How about that?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that would freak them out. So, like, and to me, I'm an atheist. So to me, it's all equally as,
hogwash.
Kind of. And I don't want to be disrespectful, but yeah, to me, it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. What color you think Jesus is, or what color God is. But it's just interesting how people have like so distorted this concept that there's like white, blue-eyed people in the desert in the Sinai area in what was Canaan. I don't think so.
I also like, see, I know my brother's watching this, and I know he is seeing this. See, my brother's a Zionist, like my mother is, and
so
I kind of like to rub it in.
It's so unfortunate.
It's kind of fun.
But you know what? This is exactly the kind of stuff people should see, because the amount of misinformation that was getting out about the protests and the demonstrations, that they were violent and that Jewish people feel threatened and violent. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. And anybody who says that, they're just some sort of like operative or shill for whatever they're pushing, because that's just not true.
And let's also keep in mind, and this is, again, a very important part of all this, and I've been saying this to Jen for the past few days, and now I'll say it on the podcast. I have so much respect for the Free Palestine movement and how they have conducted themselves over the past year. They have avoided almost every single conceivable roadblock that you can possibly imagine.
And yet still peaceful. And I was at the November 4th last year when it was the first really big rally in
when
DC.
You kind of knew that this was going to be really bad.
Yeah, and I was there, and it was so crowded, and there were so many people and so many different groups and organizations, and I was there for the entire day, all around, walking through the city, tons of people, and I didn't see a single negative, anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish, nothing, not any squabbles, not any fight, nothing. And I've been to many different like protests, and I've never seen that. That's how come I know that they're full of shit. And I have not yet seen firsthand accounts. It's always people telling you, oh, the students felt unsafe. Okay, well, where are those students? And let's hear their stories. And I will not believe it unless I have an opportunity to cross-examine. I want video evidence or the ability to cross-examine a witness. And if you don't give me either of those things, then I'm going to say you're full shit.
And the amazing thing, Garwick, is that the women that do this, they're all the same. They all look the same. They're all from the same places. And they are all of the same level of privilege.
Yes.
And because this upsets them, But as I've often said, imagine what it would be like in the United States, because I know people that were never even a part of 9/11. They just saw it on TV and they're still traumatized by it to this day. Could you imagine living in a place where you literally had death from above dropping down on you every day? I mean, you want to talk about strong willed people? And that's one of the reasons why Islam is now Christianity is the biggest religion on the planet, but the single biggest denomination of religion, which is Shia Muslim, it's incredible how strong-willed they are and how much their faith gives them strength. I didn't intend for that to rhyme, but it just worked out that way. It is true that this is essentially what we've come to. We are watching the empire die, but we're also watching a level of privilege that is not going to get their way anymore, because eventually we're too awake now. We're too aware of what the societal problems are. There's too many channels like ours. Now, granted, our message doesn't get out there on a level that we
I wish
like
it did, because you still have friggin' Kamala Harris still doubling down on the friggin' rape narrative still. They're still doing that.
Maged, thank you for that correction. I appreciate it. I thought it was Shia, but it is Sunni Muslim. And that is why
Sunni Islam. See, you're messing it all up.
Sunni Islam. Okay, my mistake.
The people are Muslim. The religion is Islam.